Good morning, and today I'm just going to demonstrate on how to get started on the 3-drop gourd stitch. We're just going to do a couple of rows, or maybe 3 or 4 rows, well, at least 4 rows, 4 beads onto this lighter case. I'm just using a regular Bic lighter, and I made this leather case out of just a piece of deer hide that I had. I stitched the seams together and I cut out the oval piece and just hand stitched those. I also put some E6000 glue on the outside of it just to help hold its shape, and then the lighter just fits easily back in there. So today let's get started with trying to get how to get started on the 3-drop gourd stitch. So first of all, what you want to do is thread your needle, and for starters I'm just going to create a slip knot here. And what I'm going to do is take the slip knot, pull that through like that, and then just wrap it around the lighter. So what this helps is it just helps for the beads to stay in place when I'm going around the lighter. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now what I want to do is take my needle. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer, but not right at this second here, because I just want to pick up the count of beads and just figure out how many I need to go around the lighter. Okay, so I got some beads on here now, and then I'm just going to go around, and I see there's still a space. So what I need to do from here to here is continue to put some more beads on my string here. Okay, so let's see how we made out with this. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That looks like the right amount of beads that I want. So we're going to go with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count the number of beads that I collected. I'm going to move this pile of beads over. And I have to remember that the number of beads that I needs to be divisible by 3. Okay, so I have 54 beads. Now, this is where a little bit of math comes into play. So now that I have 54, that's my number. I need to be able to divide that number by 3. So I did some math earlier on here. So if I'm looking at it, I have 54 divided by 3 equals 18. So 18 is the number, and that's divisible by 3 as well. So now I need to take 1/3 of 54 off in order for me to begin the 3-drop. So I'm going to take 18 plus 18 equals 36. That's 2/3. And the remaining number is will be 1/3. So 54 minus 36. That should be minus. So 54 minus 36 equals 18. So that's 1/3. So 2/3 of the beads is 36. I want to take off the 1/3, which is 18. So that's how I figure out the third. Now I need to take off 18. So I'm just going to count 18 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so now this little pile I'm going to keep separate over there. Now my 18 beads, what I'm going to do is keep the 18 beads in their own little pile. And this will help especially if you're just new to this, because you want to make sure you don't add a bead or miss a bead. So I got my 18 over here. Now I'm going to take my string of beads and wrap it around the needle. Now what you're going to notice is you got that space there. So that is okay, because what we're going to do as we add the beads on, the space is going to get narrower, and they'll meet up. So now that I've wrapped around, I'm going to take my thread and needle and go through this bead here. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer so we can get a better look at this. Okay, so now what I've done is I've just wrapped the string of beads that I have around the lighter case, and you can already see that there's that space. That's okay. Next, what I'm going to do is take take my needle and thread and just go through the first bead. Again, that's just going to help hold the beads in place, but we also need to go through that first bead. Now I'm just going to turn this around and move that out of the way. There we go. So now I'm just going to hold those in place. Now with my little pile of beads set aside, those are the only beads that I'm going to use, the 18 that I set aside. And now to start, I want to go through every second bead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count the bead that the string is going through. Let's see here, that's too many strings right here for a sec. The bead that the string is going through right here, I'm going to count as 1. So that's 1, 2, and then I'm going to pick up go through the next bead. But before I do that, I'm going to pick up a bead and take my needle and thread and go through that one. So there's the first step of stringing the beads on. I'm going to pick up a bead and see where the thread is going through that last bead right in here. I'm going to count that 1, 2, and then go through that one, the next one. So I count 1, 2, then go through the next one. And then you just repeat that. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then go through the next one. 1, 2, one, two. Now the beginning, when you first start, the beads feel loose, feels kind of clumsy, but if you just keep working your way through it and practice, you'll get the feel for it, and it'll, next thing you know, you'll just be going nice and smooth. So 1, 2, Okay, so now I'm on to my last bead here from my 18 that I saved. So 1, 2, and then I go through that. And then now I should have all around groupings of 3. So if you look carefully, see how they go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and there should be 18 of them. So let's count here. So I'm going to start by this grouping where the needle, the thread is going through. That'll be the first count, and then I'll end up, I should have 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm right where I started. I have 18. So that's, now I know I'm on the right path, right track, I should say. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add one more row on just for the purpose of this video and to show you how to keep going. So now that we got our first row, this is counted as the first row. I'm going to just, I don't need to count, but if you want to, you can separate 18 beads again because that's our number that we want, or you can add on just as you go and try to keep count. So I'm going to begin with, what I need to do is go through this bead here. So I don't pick up a bead. I go through this, the bead that's sticking up the most, like the highest bead in this row is this one right there. So right there. So I'm going to just take my needle and thread and go right through that without picking out a bead. That's the bridging part that I like to refer to. I think it's step up, but I never knew that term until recently. Okay, so now I'm going to carry on. Now I'm going to pick up my beads. So I'm going to pick up one, go through the bead that's sticking up the most, which is this top bead right here, right there. That's where I want to go. So I'm going to do that, repeat that. Around the whole lighter. Now, if you find initially that this is loose, that is okay, because what's going to happen is it will tighten up as you go around. And you can just gently pull on the string just to make it a little bit more snug. Now you just keep going around the lighter. And you can do this with any object that's cylindrical. You can do this with medicine bottles, pens, pencils, anything that has a round circumference. And to change the color, if you want if you want the next row different color, you have to change the color at the jump or the step up. Okay, now I know I'm getting near the end here, because what I do is I have 4 here, 4 right there, 3, and then 4. So I just want to be mindful that this is my last one here. And there. That's it. That's how you start your 3-drop gourd stitch. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and happy beading. Thank you for watching.